Hi, do you dream of starting and building a nonprofit that's going to make a difference in the world, but you think that you cannot do it because you have limited money, limited time, limited help, limited education? You have a board, but they're not really active? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you one, how it's possible, and two, how you can build a thriving nonprofit with limited resources. Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Vannessa Lindsey, and I'm a founder of a nonprofit I founded in 1987, and I ran it for over 35 years. I am grateful and I am thankful for all the work that we accomplished over the years. And now I am teaching and coaching other nonprofit founders on how they can start and sustain their nonprofit. And I started my nonprofit at the age of 22 with absolutely no experience, limited education, and no money, and my board was not active. I had some board members because I said, will you serve on my board? They're like, yes. But they weren't active. But I was determined. I wrote a grant, and I was awarded $50,000. And with that $50,000, I was able to quit my job and build my nonprofit full time. Over the years, we received over $30 million in funding, and we have had the benefit and opportunity to provide counseling services to over 15,000 youth and families. That's not bad for someone who was 22 who started their organization with no experience, no education, no money, no help. So I'm here to tell you that if I can do it, you can do it too. When I did it back then, there was no cell phones, internet, Zoom, or accessible computers. Especially for me at that time, there was no accessible computers. Where am I going to get an accessible computer from at 22 years old? You know how expensive it was back then? But I'm going to show you what you need to do so you can do the same. How do you build your nonprofit? Back then, like many of you are, I was a solo nonprofitpreneur. I was responsible for starting and building my nonprofit with no help. But that was okay for me because this was my passion, this was my mission, this was my purpose. So whose responsibility was it to make it happen? It was my responsibility. And when someone came along the way to help me, I was so grateful. Can you relate to that? When you're working on your nonprofit, you're like, oh, somebody gave me some advice and somebody helped me on this and somebody helped me with that. Because I didn't find a lot of people when I was doing it that was helping. Okay, so to start and build your nonprofit, the first thing you need to do is determine the purpose of your nonprofit. The first thing that most new nonprofit people do is say, I'm going to start a nonprofit. They run out, they get their 501c3, and they have no idea and they're not clear on who their clients are and what services they're going to provide. Many people begin with all these ideas like, okay, I'm going to serve the homeless, and I'm going to do food, and I'm going to provide housing, and I'm going to provide counseling, and I'm going to do all these different things. We're going to provide services to returning citizens, to domestic violence. They have all these lofty ideas. But when you start your nonprofit, the one thing you have to do is you have to get so clear. And I want you to get clear on one thing that you're really passionate about. And then go out there and find out what the need is for that passion and for that service. And you want to find out who's already doing or serving the population that you want to serve and who's already doing what you're doing. So you can know if there's a need and how you can go about fulfilling that need where their gap is. And the next thing I want you to do after you do that is gather all that information. Then I want you to sit down and I want you to work with your board or friends or family and create your mission statement. The nonprofit mission statement, people don't realize, is the compass that your board, your staff, your volunteers, funders, and other community players will use to understand what your organization is, what it stands for, and what services it provides. So it is so important and crucial to have your mission statement. Most people take this step lightly, and most people don't even know their mission statement. But it's crucial for not only as a compass, but it's crucial for funding sources. This is one of the first things a funder looks at, and you need to look at when you're seeking funding is your mission and the funder's mission, are they in a line? If you identify funding and your mission doesn't align with the funder's mission, the chances of you receiving funding is very, very low. As I mentioned, the first grant I received was for $50,000, and back in the day, that was a nice chunk of change, right? But my mission aligned with the funder's mission, and I was able to connect my program in the community after I was funded because I had done my research, and I had begun to establish relationships. And this is so important that when you're out there and you are doing your research that you start beginning to build relationship. If you want to get funding, having good relationships will help you not only get the funding, but to sustain your organization so it will be a pillar in the community. So that's one of the things you do, go build relationships. So over the years, my mission statement was the guide for the organization. I established relationships, attained millions of dollars, and I made a difference in the lives of clients, in lives in the community, and the staff we hire throughout the years. So when you're starting your nonprofit, you may say, I want to serve this one client, but it's such a huge benefit across the spectrum. So if you want to learn how to build your nonprofit from a concept in your mind to a pure premier community organization, then subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channels. So you'll know when I'm about to drop some of these $1,000,000 nuggets that I have learned and I have done over the years that has helped me to build my nonprofit, and that can help you on your journey to help make a difference in the lives of others. So go ahead, subscribe, hit that link, hit the bell. Thank you.